Welcome to the Messenger-Inquirer's Gridiron Report, sponsored by Crandall's Home Furnishings and Carpets Unlimited. I'm Messenger-Inquirer Sports Editor Scott Hagerman, and with me is Messenger-Inquirer Sports Writer Jim Pickens. Jim, we got a lot to talk about this show. We're going to get right to the highlights. The game that I think was on everybody's mind coming into last weekend, as far as city schools, was definitely Catholic going into Apollo. And this game, really, coming into it, it was an interesting situation with Apollo having the open week. Really had all the time in the world to prepare to get that offense in line, and Apollo scores 7 points. Catholic wins 28-7. What is going on with the Eagles' offense?
I don't know. It's a very interesting game, Scott, but Apollo led this game 7-0 through 3 quarters, and Catholic scores, I think they scored 3 touchdowns in a 3.5-minute period to break this thing open. I really believe Apollo was probably 1 touchdown away from perhaps winning this game. I think if they had gone up 14-0 the way their defense was playing at the time against the Aces, I think Apollo may have gone on to win it, but they just could not kick it in gear offensively. Owensboro Catholic bent but never really broke, and then their offense broke through late in the game to win it.
The thing is, if we say they were 1 touchdown away from breaking it open, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've only scored 2 touchdowns in 12 quarters, you were a long way from breaking the game open in a way. I mean, I just can't figure out what's going on with Apollo's offense. They can't run the ball. Elijah Dillard held to 32 yards on 11 carries, which has been a trend the whole season. They haven't ran the ball. Corbin Jewell, a decent game, 15-31, not a great percentage, 176 yards. But this team just cannot find the end zone, and I just believe they have too many talented players for this to be happening. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Apollo problem is that they move the chains pretty well between, say, the 30 and the 30, but then after that they have trouble sticking it in the end zone when they get to the red zone inside the 20. But they've still got some things to address here, obviously. Dillard's a better running back than 32 yards on 11 carries. Jewell, he's in his first year as a starter, so you can't expect him to light it up every week. But he still had 176 yards passing, which tells me that that
he didn't play bad at all.
He could have thrown another touchdown pass. He did throw one to Ryan Hogg, but they're obviously the problem with Apollo is I don't think their defense. I think it's their offense.
Oh, there's no question. I don't think it's their defense. I mean, when you hold Owensboro Catholic scoreless for 3 quarters, which is what they did, you've got a pretty good defense. Well, matter of fact, you've got a better defense than it probably even gets credit. Because when your offense is not getting anything done, you're really putting pressure.
But what happens, and this is my point, at the end of the game, when that defense has had to go out there and stop them, and it's a tenuous 7-0 lead, that can an offense like Catholic's can eventually wear you down, and that's exactly what happened in the fourth quarter. They broke through, and once they broke through big, and Catholic's defense deserves a lot of credit in this game too, Scott, because they kept Catholic in the game,
right?
So that the offense could strike late.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here, Isaac Hardesty, we've both been impressed by him coming up to this game. Right. Maybe his most impressive performance, ironically, because of what a bad start he got off to. He throws 3 interceptions early, but doesn't get rattled, comes back, still has the big game, 270-some yards, 3 touchdowns. Isaac Hardesty, you're seeing his development into a winner.
Right.
I mean, forget the stats. Yeah. He's finding ways to win.
This game was an affirmation of his ticker. That's what I look at a game like this, because you could easily get your head down. This kid is also in his first year as a starter, Scott.
Yes.
And even though he's had great success and they put 63 points on the board against South Spencer the week before, 3 interceptions on a young quarterback would just take them to the floor in a lot of cases. But Isaac rose up and won this game with his, helped win this game in the fourth quarter.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't think there's any doubt. We could talk about this game for hours on end.
But
there were other games we want to get to, and let's go to a clip of Bowling Green coming into Rash Stadium to play the Owensboro Red Devils. This one was the big game from a state perspective. Bowling Green comes in ranked number 2 in 5A. Owensboro ranked number 5 in 5A. Really good battle for a while. But in the end, Bowling Green 44-20. Just too many weapons for the Purples.
Yeah, too many weapons, and this was also a case of one team getting worn down in the second half. Bowling Green, in my opinion, has a little bit more overall talent. They also have more depth, and I think late in the game that proved itself to be true because Bowling Green had 259 yards of total offense in the second half, -3 for Owensboro. And
amazing.
To hold them
Amazing
to a
stat.
-3, it tells you a whole lot about the Purple's defense, and it really is pretty extraordinary. And it's a credit to Owensboro early in that first half and really through 3 quarters. They put 20 points on the board. One of them was an interception return,
right.
Granted, but at the same time, they went toe-to-toe with Bowling Green for a long time in this game, but no, the Purples had too much at the end.
Yeah, Owensboro only trailed 23-20 late in the third quarter.
That's right.
What about Bowling Green quarterback Scooter Hollis? 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs. He's just one of those guys that does everything. You have to account for him on every play.
Yeah.
Is he as good as anybody you've seen this year?
Yes, and he's also, over the last season and a half, he's the most improved player I've seen, of all the ones I've seen. You know, and I see a lot of players here, and I see some elsewhere. Grayson, I saw them last year, but he's the most improved player. He really looked like a different player to me. His decision-making was outstanding, and when you combine better decision-making with extraordinary athleticism, then you've got a superstar running your offense, and that's why they put up 44 points.
Owensboro offensively, Kendall Tinsley, glad to see him really kind of have what is close to, I guess you could call it, a breakout game. 96 yards on 13 carries. They'd been searching for that running back option. Cal Prince, not his best game, 5 of 16 through the air, 63 yards, 3 interceptions. Owensboro's just got to be able to throw the ball better than that.
Yeah, and that was sort of what happened in this game. You know, they I think Cal suffered 5 sacks too, 4 or 5 anyway, and so he's under pressure really on every snap, even when he wasn't sacked. So that's where the 5 of 16 comes from. Not really a reflection as much about Cal Prince's ability. He just ran into a buzzsaw here.
Oh, absolutely.
And you do that sometimes. I mean, Daviess County early in the year got beat 66-0.
Absolutely.
And they ran into the same thing. So, I mean, you know, Cal.
But I don't think there's any question, though. Owensboro now realizes they've got a lot of work in front of them.
Yes.
Because there's a real good chance they can beat this team again.
Well, not only that, but I mean, they've got Ohio County coming up on the road. Then they guess who comes in?
Christian
County comes back to Rash Stadium. I'm telling you, there's not probably a hair's breadth of difference between Bowling Green and Christian. I think Bowling Green's better, but Christian's still very, very good.
Christian, very good. I don't think there's any doubt those are the 2 teams when you look at the region that right now are shaping up as the teams to beat.
Yeah, these 3, counting Owensboro.
Counting Owensboro, but after
years.
this, you got to feel like Bowling Green Christian may be a tick above.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
All right, well, we're going to take a break for 30 seconds, hear from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with the rest of last weekend's action.